Hey everybody, today we're going to talk about the MAT tourniquet on TACMED TV. Hey everybody, welcome to TACMED TV. My name is Steve. Today I have a guest with me. His name is Jim Williams. Say hi, Jim.
Hi, Jim.
I knew that was coming. Today we're going to talk about the MAT tourniquet. The MAT tourniquet, just some real quick background on it, is made by a company called Ping Medical. I'll put a link to their website in the description below so you guys can check that out. Tons of science there. There's some other videos that they go into talking about some of their other products besides just the MAT tourniquet. But a lot of the science is there where you can read and actually see why it does what it does, anatomy and physiology and so on and so forth. So the reason that we're going to talk about this one, and this is the last tourniquet I'm going to do for a while, and I wanted to have Jim here with me when I did the talk on this tourniquet, because he's one of the other people that I know for a fact have used this in the field. And I think that's important to you guys to make sure that you're getting real world explanations and real world opinions on these particular products. The MAT tourniquet is, I think, the simplest tourniquet to use that I have done a video on. Okay, it's a truly one-handed design, and you see here it's got what they call a C-cuff. It's basically plastic. It's neoprene covered. It's got some textured rubberized neoprene on the inside to reduce skin slippage. It creates a little bit more friction when you put it in place. The other feature that's kind of unique to this is you've got a plastic hook here, plastic buckle with the strap that runs through it. The strap's only an inch wide, but you slap that in there like that, tighten it up, and I'll demonstrate that here in just a second. But you tighten that up, and then you start cranking on this, okay? And that's the thing you start cranking on, okay? You'll hear it right there. It's a ratchet mechanism that draws the tension up when you apply the tourniquet. Now real quick, I'll go ahead and show you one-handed. Now you guys at home, you know, time me on this, because usually I can get this done and in place in about 7 seconds, which is a lot faster than any other tourniquet on the market. So time me from when I started making the move, cinch it down tight, and I'm going to stop right there because it's already getting really tight. Okay.
2 minutes.
Thank you, Jim. I appreciate that. Thank you. I can always count on you for that. But once you get it in place like that, you'll wrap the strap back around on itself, take it under the key as such, fold the key down, and then the excess strap I just tuck underneath the excess strap that you wrapped around, and that holds it in place. You want to make sure that it stays in place. As a matter of fact, I'm going to take this off because that's got quite a bit of little pressure on it. Okay. Well, I said I'm going to take it off. Here we go. Do it this way. Pop that and it comes right off. Okay. But anyway, that's the MAT tourniquet. That's how quick it is. That's how easy it is to use. When you wrap this back around, though, you want to come underneath the key, and then underneath the key, and then fold the tourniquet down on it, okay? And then tuck away your excess strap, because you've got a buckle system right here that if it gets hit, you've got it in place and it gets hit, it'll release the pressure, okay? That's not what you want when you're working with a tourniquet, okay? That's the furthest thing from what you want to happen. So get this excess strapping tucked away and out of the way, and this thing will do the absolute best job of anything I've used to date. Jim, what's your opinions on it? You want to have anything to add to it?
It's green.
It's very green.
No, everything. I mean, the advantage of a lot of these tourniquets is they all work pretty similarly. In earlier episodes, you've shown the Soft T, for example, and all of its cousins that are really similar. This is the first one that you've been showing that has the ratchet system, like you said. I think when I've used them, the most skittish that I've been about this is the plastic, like you said, because I worry about that. I've not ever had a failure with it. I've not ever seen it deform, but it's plastic. So that's got me nervous, just like when In some of the earlier episodes, you talked about the windlasses that are nylon as opposed to in the first generations.
And I'll put a YouTube card up so you can go to that video and check that out as well.
But that's one concern. Also, when you wrap it around, I know teaching EMT classes, I always preach to students, you always tuck your tails. If you're using a triangular bandage, if you're doing something old school, always make sure you're tucking stuff. At first, I had always wanted to kind of bring this around and then kind of bring it on the opposite side and tuck it up under here. That way it felt like I was kind of helping tie it. But if you got this loop and it grabs a hold of something, theoretically it could, if you pulled enough, say you're dragging somebody and it caught on something on the ground like a root or something, and pulled that loop, you might generate enough force to yank this off or out of its slot. So I think it's a good idea, like you were showing them, to bring it back on the side that you showed them, as opposed to being opposite of the buckle side when you're doing that. Again, I've never had. The only time I've seen these fail is when we've had one dedicated to training for classes, and we've used them like 20 times, and over time that the ratcheting system in there will kind of wear down. Probably the biggest operator error that I've seen, and I know you probably would have mentioned it, but I'm going to finally get to say something first, is once this thing gets slapped on, a lot of times people, it's this wide where it would go over your leg or something. Right. They put it on an arm and they start cranking. And there's not enough play in there to suck up all this excess strap. So a key to it, both for effective use and also for the speed that it's actually going to start generating the pressure that you're wanting, is you got to grab that tail and get it snug before you even start doing your cranking. And that works similarly with all the other tourniquets too. You got to get as much play out of it, as much of that slack out from the very start before you start doing the work, the business part of it. And that's going to stand you in good stead as far as getting it on there quickly and being able to develop that pressure. But yeah, overall, I think it's a good tourniquet, especially this the padded area. That's good for patient comfort. Although when you're using a tourniquet, if you're using it right, I always preach, and I know you do too, that if you're using it right, you're causing pain. The person is not going to be very happy. But with that extra padding, it is good long-term or longer-term while the person's being transported to definitive care. Maybe they're sacked out in the ER waiting on an assessment by the doc or something. It's going to be cutting in their skin a little bit less than maybe some of the thinner tourniquets that maybe just the nylon strap that's digging into them. So.
Yeah. And you're spot on with that. And one of the things I've noticed with this one is you get pinch points with the tourniquets, and this one's pinch point is right in here, and it is just what it is. But if you've got somebody that you're applying a tourniquet to, you tactical medics out there, your paramedics, EMTs, depending upon where you are, military guys, you're going to start thinking about pain control as well. Okay, don't really want to go into that part of it, but it's something that you need to think about. If you're putting a tourniquet on somebody, they may need some pain control. One thing I want to talk to you about, and I harp on this in all my tourniquet videos, and Jim will go right along with me on this. On here, the place to put the time is on the turnkey. Okay, make sure that you have a Sharpie in your individual first aid kit, your IFAK, your blowout kit, whatever you call it. Make sure that you've got a Sharpie in there and that you write the time on here when you place that tourniquet. Okay, now if you've watched my other videos, and again I'll put the YouTube card up so you can see the other videos, I'm also a huge proponent of taking that Sharpie and putting a T on their forehead. Okay, put the T on their forehead, put the time that you place the tourniquet on one side of it, and then on the other side you put the location. RA for right arm, LA for left arm, LL for left leg, RL for right leg. Okay, because anybody, any care provider that comes in contact with that patient moving forward, they are absolutely going to look at their face because they're going to evaluate their airway. And when they see that on the forehead, they're going to know, hey, I've got to go find this tourniquet. Okay, because it may be covered up by a blanket. This is not just the only thing that's probably going on with this patient. So we've got them wrapped up to conserve warmth. We've got them bundled up when they get to the ER. They may not, it could fall between the cracks and not get seen. and we are working with a window here of hours. What was it when we were doing the research on it? Was it we found that 6 hours was kind of like the top for a tourniquet in surgery? In surgery, okay, that's not in the field. And our protocol where we work is what do we finally come down to? 2 hours, 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
And then we need to be getting them somewhere to where they're coming. That tourniquet's coming off, and they're going to surgery, or at least they've been evaluated by a physician, and the physician's made the determination to take the tourniquet off. So anyway, if you folks out there, if you all have used one of these, let us know in the comments section, okay? Let us know what you think of this particular piece of equipment. Let us know if it was a success for you, if you had problems with it. We really want to know these things, okay? We want to interact with you guys. We want you guys to let us know what you think of the videos that we're doing, especially the equipment in the videos. And with that said, you know, if you like what we're doing here on the channel, think about subscribing, okay? Hit the subscribe button below, and I would really appreciate that. I know, Jim, I think you've got a channel that's going to be coming up pretty soon that you're going to roll out, hopefully within the next several weeks. We'll get some stuff done on that. Can you tell us a little bit about what you're going to do there?
No, it's very secret. Now, well, we're got a couple things going on, but one, we're going back to revisit, if this is the one you're talking about, the basic skills. Well, yeah, two things. We're looking at basic skills, and so when you're cursing your partner, because how could they even get out of class without knowing how to tie a triangular bandage or whatever like that. Something for people to refer to if they're new, or they just want a good review or a different point of view of how to do things. I know we're both firm believers of having as many things in your mental toolkit as you can, because you're going to be able to improvise better. As far as TACMed TV goes, and the audience we're talking to, you know, with austere medicine, you want to be able, if you're operating with a team, you want to be able to do as many things with as few tools as possible, because space and weight are at a premium. So talking about things like that I've noticed a lot of, obviously you're not going to be carrying a set of vacuum splints or cardboard splints or whatever else, but you know, I'm a firm believer in carrying a roll of tape, roll of duct tape, a couple of triangular bandages. I carry those in my hard vest, just because you never know. You might need something to tie a door open after an injury, because it's always trying to close and you're out of wedges. You know, it doesn't have to be just medical. So, but revisiting some of the basic things, and then also you were mentioning Hilltop Medics, which we're going to be kind of doing as a joint venture, and talking about. We're still kind of in flux with that, and it may even depend upon some of your all's comments, but I think we're kind of leaning towards talking about EMS related issues of the day. You know, maybe more of a round table, kind of sitting around and letting you in on some of the behind the scenes dog cussings that we give each other.
Oh yeah.
You know, versus it could be something like, I'm a big stay and play guy. Steve is a big run and cry to the medical director guy.
That's what it is, right?
But
you're getting ready to get a really good preview of the dog cussing.
Exactly. But there is no one answer, which anybody watching this already knows. If you worked a day in EMS, in the end, on a real run, the answer is going to be somewhere in that gray area. So the more information you get, whether it's reading, talking to experts, listening to yokels like us, whatever, you know, that's what I try to do, is search out and steal the best ideas that I can, and then tuck them away, because eventually they're going to come back. It might be 5 years from now, but you're going to be on some run. I'll even let you in on some of the runs where that has happened, where people have given me information or pearls, and I've almost forgotten about them, and then end up on a run. They magically reappear in my head to the point they're almost embarrassed. Some of them are kind of embarrassing, but they work. And so that we're going to talk about things like that, I think, and give you all an opportunity also to point us in the right direction. Anything you think we might square off about, or even if we agree, we might just assign, flip a coin and see who's going to be
Devil's
wrong.
advocate that
and,
day.
Yeah, who's going to be wrong and who's going to be me.
Yeah.
And
Right.
and so we'll talk about conversations like that, maybe get you into some of the studies without being boring. But what information is out there that maybe you haven't had the time to sit down and do your own legwork for, we'll try and do that for you as well.
Yeah. And, he just mentioned something, trends that come back around. Tourniquets. Back in the day, it was something that was, oh, this is something we need to do, and then it went through a period of time there where it was, oh, no, don't use a tourniquet. If you put a tourniquet on, oh, they'll lose the limb. That's never been the case. That was just... Well, I'm not even going to go into why it went that direction. I could, but I'm just not going to because I'm a positive person. Right. So anyway, I appreciate your time today. Thank you, Jim. I really appreciate you coming by. I've been wanting to get you involved in these videos for a while because you bring a wealth of information because you're so old. So I really appreciate that. But guys,
nice
thanks. What hair? I know I'm losing my hair.
Yeah.
But anyway, thanks, folks. I appreciate you stopping by and watching TACMed TV today. The MAT tourniquet, be information in the description box below for you. And again, comments, concerns, questions, complaints, let me know. That's how we're going to make the channel better, okay? So interact with me. Let me know what you like. Let me know what you don't like. I'll do what I can to make this a more enjoyable experience for you. I'll go ahead and put up my other videos floating around here, so you can check those out. And until next time, my name is Steve from TACMed TV saying stay safe.